Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today I want to share with you my first impressions of the TicWatch S2 that's been available since January. So at the time of launch, it was available next to this watch right here, launched at the same time as the TicWatch E2. The TicWatch E2 is kind of like the cousin of the S2. They're basically identical smartwatches. The only difference is the design. So this one has a military grade drop protection 810G, whereas over here you have a more unassuming design. It's not drop protection at all. There is no drop protection, but this one also has that more Timexy sporty look to it, whereas this one again is pretty unassuming. But in terms of the internals, identical smartwatches, and these are a follow-up to the previous generation, which was the TicWatch E and the TicWatch S, which you can actually get at pretty decent discounts right now. I think the TicWatch E you can actually get for under $100, but either way, I'll leave links down in the description. So the TicWatch S2 is $180. So I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. It's available on Amazon, also places like gearbest.com as well. So you can see here, this is gearbest.com. They have, I think, just the white version of the watch. It's a little bit cheaper here for $176. And then if I go over here into Amazon, you can see that it's $180. Or if you want the TicWatch E2, that's just $160. So a little bit cheaper for that one. And basically, again, the only difference between the two is the fact that the S2 has military grade drop protection and slightly more, I'll call this more aesthetically pleasing design, personally, I think anyways. So you can see it does have 22 millimeter quick release bands, so if you want to change the bands out, you can easily do that. In fact, they're swappable here with my TicWatch E2 bands, so if I want the white and black option there, I can switch them up. We have our heart rate sensor here, and then also over here we have our magnetic charging port. So this is an upgrade over the TicWatch S because that one had just kind of like a small magnet that would magnetize to there. This one we have an actual charging dock, which you can see holds very, very tight, so you don't have to worry about it slipping overnight or whatever. So in terms of the watch itself, kind of already talked about the design. There's just a single button here, a speaker, or not a speaker, but a microphone here. And while we're talking about speaker, the TicWatch S, the original TicWatch S, did have a speaker, whereas this one does not. So if you want to listen to music from the TicWatch S2, you're going to have it connected up to Bluetooth headphones. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other features. So first of all, notice that they have it sitting underwater here. And that's because it is 5 atmospheres water resistant. So you can actually go swimming with this one, and they actually have a pool swimming option that you can track here. And I already mentioned that multiple times already. So of course, this is running Wear OS, and it does have the newest, whoops, let's get that into focus, Wear OS by Google. So it's running 2.2. Whatever one gives you the tiles. So I'll show you those tiles here in just a little bit. Of course, customizable watch faces, and I'm going to show you my favorite watch face app that you can get for Wear OS called Watchmaker. And I'll tell you why it's my favorite, and we'll run through that app just a little bit. We can, of course, receive notifications, but that's true of any smartwatch. We have Google Assistant, music streaming, and Google Assistant is actually a big advantage of any Wear OS device, because in comparison to like Siri, for instance, it's definitely better. Bixby, I would argue that Google Assistant's definitely better than both of those. And then of course we have music streaming, which I'd actually say is kind of a limitation here, because you have to be subscribed to Google Play Music if you want to be able to actually download music to the watch. Otherwise, it's just a music player for those other apps. And then over here, like Spotify, for instance. And then over here, a few other things that we mentioned. So I already mentioned those two things. 2-day battery life. This has a 410 milliamp hour battery. 2 days is definitely stretching it. Notice they have that little star there. It says varies with usage, of course. So light usage, yes, you could probably get 2 days, but in general, you're pretty much only going to get through a single day of usage. Built-in GPS. GPS is very accurate. We have GPS, Baidu, and GLONASS. So for those of you that are workout people like myself, you like to go cycling or biking, running, whatever you like to do, the GPS is very accurate here. We have a heart rate sensor and then lightweight design. So let's go ahead and take a look at it compared to some other watches. So I already put it next to the E2. Here it is next to my Garmin Forerunner 245 Music. So you can see these are kind of like going in order of smallest to largest there. And then in comparison to like my TicWatch Pro, it's actually a little bit smaller, definitely a lot lighter because, like I said, this has a lightweight design because the TicWatch Pro has all metal here and then stainless steel up here as well on the bezel, whereas this one's all plastic. So despite being plastic, of course, it is kind of got that military grade drop protection, so it's going to be good to go. So let's just go ahead and run through the software now on the watch. So I have a custom watch face here. Like again, I mentioned, I got it from Watchmaker, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and hold this down, and you can see how you're going to change your watch face if you want to change it up. And then of course there are other ones available over here, and then you can get an app like Watch Face Maker, and you can make up your own app or make up your own watch face if you want, which is kind of what I did here. I didn't quite completely make this myself. I stole the basic design and then tweaked it to my own liking, which is pretty cool, super customizable. And then we have our quick setting icons here. So we're not going to go through all those. There's also a quick settings icon up there. Going to the right, we have our Tic Health, or you can change this up to Google Fit if you prefer. We have our weather. So these are the new tiles here. And then we have events. And then here we have a Google headline, so we can update that if we need to. And if I hold down on any one of the tiles, we can change the tiles. And that thumb is really dry, so we're going to go ahead and hold it with this finger maybe. Let's hold it with this thumb because my hands are super dry right now, so might not. There we go. All right. So then we go over here into tiles. We can add in other tiles. Now it's a little bit limited. You can see there's not a whole lot of options there. So we have Google Fit, heart rate, Google Heart Points, goals, timer, and then the other ones that you see here. So you're limited to 5 tiles, which is a little bit limiting, but not too bad. And then if we go over here to the left, we have, of course, our if we want to go into asking Google for some things, we can go ahead and hit that, or we can even do the hot words as well. Those do work well, and we have some Google Now information there, or Google Assistant information. And then if we scroll up from the bottom, that's where we're going to get our notifications. So I think Wear OS does do notifications quite well. So I can go in here to, for instance, this video from Paul Tech, and I can hit play, turn off, or watch later. Of course, it's not going to play on the watch. It's going to play on my phone. So if I hit play, you'll see that it'll go ahead and turn that on. So yeah, so anyways, that's pretty much the operating system. If I go over here and hit the button, that's going to take me into all of my apps. So I just want to mention a couple of apps that are worth mentioning here. So if you're a runner, which I am, so this is really for those of you that are runners or cyclists as well, or maybe mountain bikers. This is an app that I love to use personally for running. And the reason for that is if I scroll down here, you can see just how customizable it is. Also, you can keep that watch face on all the time if you want. So if you're a runner, I highly recommend checking out Ghost Racer just because of how customizable that app is. But then the main app that they give you is Tic Exercise. So this is the app they use to track workouts. Again, I don't really use this one, but it is available here on the watch. So we have outdoor run, outdoor walk, indoor run, cycling, and then freestyle. So that's going to be, of course, if you're doing cardio or weightlifting, it's going to just use the heart rate sensor basically to track your workouts. And then down here we have pool swimming. So one other thing worth mentioning here is that this does have Tic Motion, which wasn't available on the previous generations. So Tic Motion is basically going to be the same thing as what you'd get with like a Samsung device, where when you start walking or start running, it'll automatically detect that you're doing that, and it'll start tracking it immediately. You have to tell it that you want it to do that, and it'll ask you when you go into Tic Exercise for the first time. You can go into the settings of that app, and you can change that if you want. You don't have to have that on, of course. And then, of course, we have Google Fit, the whole suite there. So if you want to use Google Fit to track your workouts, you can do that. If you want to use Strava to track your workouts, whatever, they're all available here. And then they also do have a separate pool swimming icon. Basically, that's going to take you right into Tic Exercise, but automatically straight into the pool swimming version of it. And we can go into our settings, but I'm not going to go into all those because you're probably familiar with Wear OS devices as it is. But I do want to talk about this app right here. This is called Watch Face Maker, or Watchmaker, I mean. So if I come down here, you can see the icon there. So that's obviously the watch face that I'm using. But what I love about this is just how customizable it is. So let's say this is my Google Play icon, so I can go down here and you can see that when I click on that on the face, it's going to take me into Google Play Music. Now I have the Spanish version apparently. Then if I come up here into my Strava icon, you can see that when I click on that one, it's actually going to take me instead of into Strava, which by the way, Ghost Racer does download directly to Strava. But it takes me directly into that Ghost Racer app that I mentioned a second ago, and I showed you a second ago. And then over here, I actually use that little runner icon, even though that's for my step count. I use that one actually to take me into my settings. So super customizable. You can change it however you want. Basically, what I did with this particular watch face is I found a watch face that I like. So we're going to go here into my watches. So those are the two that I use. But if we come in here into the other ones, so we'll go into home, you can see I can go ahead and grab one of these watch faces, and some of them you have to pay for, some of you don't. But here's one that looks a lot like the Apple Watch face. So that I think they call it, what is that one called? I'm drawing a blank on it. I can't remember. But this one's a lot like the watch face from Apple, and you can customize all of these widgets however you want, or all these little icons however you want. So you can make them do whatever you want. So I can come down here and change it. So basically what you need to do is customize copy, and then you can change it to whatever you want any of those to be, and you can change that to miles if you want, of course, and just super customizable. So that's why I really like that one so much. So if you want a separate video, if you have any questions about this one, let me know if I can do maybe a tutorial on how to do that if you guys are interested. So anyways, a quick look at the TicWatch S2. Definitely a worthy Wear OS device. Wear OS devices are getting a lot of bad rap. If you're looking at the news on watches lately, a lot of times Wear OS is getting some pretty bad rap. And I honestly think the reason for that is this processor, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 2100 processor. Even though in the initial setup, it's kind of slow, I think overall, once you actually have the watch set up, it's really not bad at all. So you can see I'm able to get through all this stuff pretty quickly. Really no issues there. But yeah, so anyways, a quick look at the TicWatch S2. Let me know what questions you guys have about the watch. If you want to know how to do certain customizations that I've shown you here in the video, let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.